we don't generally rate someone who hasn't had 2 or 3 businesses, and regardless of whether they've closed down or been successful. For us, somebody who's been in business, that's gone through the ups and downs, goes again, shows us the tenacity of someone who's got the characteristics of making it when they find their chosen thing. As many of you who may be following our channels would know, we've started to become a little bit more transparent in what we're doing, how we're doing it, and obviously getting on board with the world we live in, which is, hey, you not only want to work with a business, but you want to know the people behind the business. And personally, just going through the social media channels more regularly and diving deep, I've been sending out some DMs to people because you get a lot of messages as the algorithms start to kick in. And one of the difficult things when you're, I guess you're running a business or you're building a business like ours, when you know you can help people, you've seen you can help people, you can see the impact between someone who's gone from despair to their greatness, or they've questioned what they're doing and then got the breakthrough, and they become different humans, right? They get that confidence. Everything changes for them. But unfortunately, when I'm looking at social media and seeing that, you see some of the stories of people who haven't quite or couldn't make that breakthrough in their business. So I messaged someone randomly, I won't embarrass them, but they were talking about going through a liquidation in their business. And it was heartbreaking, like seriously heartbreaking. And the poor guy, he's put his heart and soul and you can watch through the history, right? You go on the feed and you look back of, hey, here we are, day one, we're excited. And here we are, going through, we got our first order, and the excitement and the build, all the things we, all of us here love, the excitement of life, the excitement of that first customer, the excitement of the first order, the upgrade on a product you've done, and now the packaging's changed, and all the beautiful things, the new website, the first 1,000 views on a post, and thanks to all that. And then you see the deterioration, and you see the gap between posting, and then you see videos of them in tears of going, something just happened or something unexpected, and you know what's coming, right? We all sort of do, and I'm sure being in the same world, seeing this video, you're probably getting similar feeds from people. It's really tough out there, which is a matter of not just running a small business. That's tough at the best of times, but when you've got things changing so rapidly around the world too, you've got this massive shift in AI, you've got so much noise of everyone selling you AI and the deterioration of humanity and all this stuff that's, at the moment, noise. You actually forget that people are really hurting, and some people that are getting caught in this, we have to make sure they're okay. So I've been DMing a couple of people going, hey, heads up, we've taken people through this over the years. People have struggled, people have lost their businesses, people who've had to go into receivership, liquidations and all that, and, just having some back and forths. And one of the interesting things, and it reminded me today, is the importance of discussing this, because a lot of people don't like to discuss what liquidation, receivership, stress, where you feel like you've really screwed up, you've put too much risk in, and you're not gonna pull it up from a a deep dive, that you might have to close the business if you're not already, and you've got the embarrassment of you don't want to publicly show that potentially, and the second thing is you're like, am I a failure? Did I do this? What did I do wrong? So you're beating yourself up. I just want to go through experience, because we've had to, as you can imagine, working with thousands of businesses. There's been people who've needed to shut up shop, not just for reasons that the business was, sometimes it was personal reasons that they need to make decisions, but it's got the same level of difficulty. And I was just speaking to this person, and I wanted to share a little story I told them. When we were going through a tough time once upon a time in one of our businesses personally, I remember a friend of mine, they were trying to give me advice and talking that, and it was sort of helpful and sort of like, it's one of these things you got to go through alone. But one of the triggers for me that sort of made me rethink the position, because you're going through all the same things. Am I embarrassed? Is it hard? What did I do wrong? Am I doing something wrong? Blah, blah, blah. I was speaking to some investors, and you're obviously even doubly embarrassed, because you look at these people at the time, you're like, oh, they've got money, they're successful, which is, you learn later in life, that's not necessarily because they're smarter. But they were talking, and these guys said something very interesting. And these were American investors, and they were having a conversation. I'm like, oh, yeah, I think I screwed this one up, and actually we were able to turn the business around from that. But I remember at the time thinking, this is a tailspin that we're probably not going to get out of. And they said something interesting that changed my perspective immediately. And one of the things they said was, it's interesting how you're talking about this company. And I said, why is that? They said, over here, being they were, as I said, American, we don't generally rate someone who hasn't had 2 or 3 businesses, and regardless of whether they've closed down or been successful. For us, somebody who's been in business, that's gone through the ups and downs, goes again and goes again, shows us the tenacity of someone who's got the characteristics of making it when they find their chosen thing. And I'd never heard that, because here in Australia, you fail, it's a bit of, well, we told you so. Whereas over there, there's a rite of passage of getting up and going again. It's the old Rocky thing, not how hard you get hit, how fast you get back up type thing. And I just think if you're going through a very difficult time in your business, or you've had to make a decision that you are not your business, you are someone who saw an opportunity and tried to commercialize it. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. The integrity is in being honest with the things that have happened, how you're behaving, how you're making a situation as best you possibly can if it gets to that point. But it does not mean that you are a failure. It does not mean that you've done nothing wrong. In fact, most governments, unless you've done anything from a criminal activity, they literally build this tax system around how do we support entrepreneurial people that businesses didn't work. Why is that? Because the economy doesn't work without small business, without people taking risk, without people trying to create jobs. It would literally collapse overnight. 60 to 70% of all jobs are created by small business, not including the localization of jobs that wouldn't be filled by bigger companies. So the essence and fabric of a small business is essential to every economy. So when you're sitting there going, I'm a failure, you are not. You are part of the contributing force that keeps every local community up and about. Your job is to get back on the horse. Your job is to not beat yourself up. Your job is to actually stand back and go, I am proud that I took a chance. This is things we could have done better. Here's where other opportunities are. What could I do different again? You are not your business. You are the person that took the risk to try something different, and that is celebrated. And if you're not around people that celebrate these things, then it's time to get into some different communities, entrepreneurial communities, business builders. There's no embarrassment in defeat. It is celebrated for the chances you took, for the risks you took, for the opportunities that you saw that no one did. So what? It didn't work out this time. Who gives a shit? Get back on the horse. If you're feeling a bit sick and sorry for yourself, do it. Feel it. Learn from it. Understand it. But don't internalize it and make it part of who you are and how you identify to yourself. Growing a business is damn tough. You could have every perfect thing in place and it still wouldn't work. That's the risk part. The beautiful thing is there's still air in your lungs. The opportunities are endless. The opportunity of a lifetime occurs every single week. Go through the period. Rebuild yourself. Remember who you are. Get back on the horse. We need you building businesses. We need you creating jobs. Well done for you for taking the chance. Now let's go again.